Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome back to the Winter Speaks podcast. I am your host, Winter. Thank you for tuning in. And today's episode is actually based off of a comment that I got on Twitter or X coming from a mutual of mine. And they asked me to talk about, is there a lane for progressive politics that is neither establishment or DSA or socialist? And I think that is a great question. I think that is a topic that I myself care about because I've been trying to get away from labels itself. I think it's the best way going forward within the progressive movement. We need to welcome everybody from people who are more liberal, who are more progressive, and if you call yourself a self-described socialist, it is something that needs to be talked about, going forward about the movement and how do we grow this movement into a multi-party, multiracial democracy. And so, yeah, let's talk about it. So, when it comes to this topic, I like to remind people that the Democratic Party is different than DSA, and DSA is different than the Democratic Party, and also the Working Families Party is also different than both DSA and the Democratic Party. In a lot of ways, not just like politics and political affiliation or policy. It's also one's an actual political party. DSA is an organization, and Working Families Party is mostly a organization, but they do run their own candidates sometimes, just like DSA does as well. And so when it comes to this conversation, I like to look at it from a standpoint that the Democratic Party is a multi-coalition party that requires all of us to participate in, and so there are these exclusive clubs that you can join, where you can organize in and help change that coalition within the political party we're all part of. But sometimes, especially certain groups are very divisive in the sense that we don't, or they don't, take other people into consideration, and it further divides the movement, and it further escalates the fights amongst the different factions within said organizations and said political parties. And so when it comes to DSA, Working Families Party, the Democratic Party, I often think that we as organizers forget that the Democratic Party is a multi-coalition party. So what does multi-coalition party mean? It means that we all need each other in order to win elections. And where we work out our differences is in the political primary process, right? And so we fight for our differences in policy in the primaries, and then we come together afterwards and vote. No matter who is in, whoever wins the primary, that's who we vote for, right? And so it needs to be equally like, where if a progressive wins, the moderate should, they lost the primary, so they should vote for the progressive, and vice versa. If the moderate wins the primary, then, progressive should vote for the moderate. And so it's a give or take. And I feel like all, the two factions are always fighting back and forth, and being like, oh, I'm not going to vote for you if you win, or I'm not going to vote for you if you win. And so it's a give or take. And so we have to remember that what a multi-coalition party is like, and until we get to a multi-party democracy where we can have multiple parties, in the United States, we have to be united, and If you look at AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, and even Zohran Mamdani, and also Bernie Sanders and the progressive movement, these figures have done a great job at reminding us that this is a coalition, and they don't focus on the names like, oh, I'm a Democratic Socialist or I'm a progressive. They're just like, no, this is we need universal health care because people are dying, and they focus on the policy aspect of progressive policies. And until they're asked in an interview, Bernie or AOC don't often speak about them personally and the labels that they use personally, and that they do that for a reason, and it's to get not only normie Democrats to side with them, but also reason with reasonable Republicans. And so if you go at it at a policy base and not based off of labels and names, and this is a socialist policy or this is a progressive policy, this is a Democratic policy, then people are going to get turned off by it. And we need to move on from labels and focus on the policies themselves. I think we have to remind ourselves, what are we doing? What are we trying to do? What are our goals? And my goal is to further help this country by implementing policies that I care about, and that includes universal health care and making sure everybody has access to affordable health care, and be able to afford to live and a dignified life, and to be able to afford to take time off of work and go on vacation with their family, and to be able to afford childcare and not work 3 jobs or not have to work to live, and instead live to work and love what they're doing, which includes free tuition, free college and university. And these are just some policy examples, but we need to focus on making people's lives better, and that needs to be our SAR. That needs to be what we focus on, and not necessarily this us versus them mentality that often or not these groups bring about, because we are frustrated and we're angry at where the Democratic Party is at. And so this isn't negating where we are at this moment in the Democratic Party. It's to say that we can kind of get distracted with the labels, and but there is room for this progressive politics that doesn't necessarily need to have the topic of DSA or establishment politics and altogether. People are madder at the establishment, but Democrats themselves may also still be friendly towards the establishment, and so those people as well need to be welcomed. The more moderate the establishment Democrats, how do we have them part of our coalition, right? And so like I said at the beginning, we fight our differences during the primaries, and then afterwards we come together, and so same thing there. And so leadership needs to or leadership going forward, that's not going to be Chuck Schumer at the moment, or also Hakeem Jeffries in the House, but leadership needs to better in Congress and going forward in the Democratic Party need to represent the diverse coalition that is the Democratic Party. And for the longest time, leadership hasn't represented the diverse, the multi coalition that the Democratic Party represents. And so we need better leadership that better represents that coalition, that progressive, the socialist, the and represent all of us. And the current leadership doesn't currently represent that. Even the Democratic Party itself doesn't represent every unique person that is part of the Democratic Party. And so but we need to set the example as organizers and activists, and shift from this us versus them mentality and welcome multiple different kinds of people into our coalition. And so that is my vocal point, is be the example of what we want to see in our politics. But like this question said, there's a room for politics that doesn't focus on so much DSA politics or progressive politics or establishment politics. It's about making people's lives better. That's our North Star. That's what we need to focus on. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. I'm glad that one of my mutuals brought it up to me in my comments. Every once in a while I'll ask my audience what you want to hear and my perspectives on, and so don't forget to follow me at Lefty Winter on my main account and Winter Speaks Pod on Twitter. Comment down below what you'd like to hear from me going forward, and then the different conversations that you want to hear about that's not being talked about in left-wing media. I'll take all the suggestions that I can. I will see you next time.